Social Security, the best way to beat inflation. I can't believe you said that, Josh. Don't you know the dollar's crashing? Oh my goodness, you're such an idiot. They're going to take away our Social Security. It's a Ponzi scheme, blah, 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 blah. Right, look, I'm not saying Social Security is not a Ponzi scheme. It absolutely is. There they are. See them right there over my head? There you go. See them right there, right above my head? Knuckleheads. Knuckleheads. Anyway, if I'm going to prove it to you once and for all that your best bet on beating Social Security is, your best bet on beating inflation is Social Security. So I've been reading my book throughout the morning, the history of retirement from 1850 to 1978 by my man William Grable. Just such a great book, historical. You got to get these books. You can't just have the PDF because they can change the PDF because, you know, that we're like living in 1984 where they can just change the document. But it's just a great book. Anyway, so I just got to thinking. I've been taking some notes, taking some data sets, which I will now transfer to a spreadsheet, which I'll share with you here. I said to myself, what is Social Security in terms of the benefit, the average benefit? How much has that increased in terms of real dollars amounts relative to the price of some goods? And we're going to look at gasoline, we're going to look at eggs, and we're going to look at CPI. All right, so I'm going to show you here right now. So I said, because, you know, all these people, and I just got so much stuff. All these people say they can't keep up with their retirement doesn't keep up with, hold on a second, with Social Security doesn't keep up with their actual retirement. So I took some notes down here, and this is just what your average inflation has been since basically 1913, when you basically take out housing costs. Now that we still got some housing costs in there, household furnishings and fuels and utilities. I don't have a homeowner's insurance in there, but that's one thing I'd have to add. But the average inflation, because again, housing is such a big component of CPI, has only been 1.5% on average since 1913. Now, some of these things only go back to 1967, household furnishings. Some things, fuels and utilities, go back to 1952. Motor fees go back to 1997. But by and large, your inflation has been less than 2% a year. All right, that's just a fact when you get rid of housing. And I'm not saying get rid of housing costs in terms of your homeowner's insurance, your property tax. Not saying that at all. I'm saying when you get rid of the big costs, which is OER for CPI, owner's occupied rent, owner's equivalent rent, and the rental costs. And the reason I say it is because the vast majority of retirees right here, the vast majority of retirees, let's see, hold on a second, right here. Age of household, okay, right here, hold on a second, I guess. Right, median household costs. The median household cost on a monthly basis in 2020 was $1,120 a month, $1,120 a month. All right, a householder between the age of 35 and 64, 42% paid less than 20% of their income in household costs. All right, so if my age, I'm 53, I pay more than 20% of my income to household costs, maybe, but 42% paid less than 20% of their income to household costs, which means 58% paid more than 20% of their income to household costs. There's a method for this madness here. I'm going to share with you in a second. However, over the age of 65, so if you're 65 and older, 56% of householders who own their homes paid less than 20% of their income in household cost. All right, hope that makes sense. That's a big deal. So once you hit 65, 56% of those people 65 paid less than 20% of their income to household cost. And again, the biggest component of CPI is households. That's just a fact. In 2020, there was 80 million households that had a mortgage. 80 million households, 80 million homeowners. 61%, these are households, not just individuals. 61% of those 80 million had a mortgage, all right? And of those people, a significant amount of people, about 27% of those 61% who had a mortgage, 27% paid more than 30% of their income in household costs. So again, in 2020, 80 million households, 61% of those homeowners, 61% of those homeowners had a mortgage. 27% of those homeowners with a mortgage paid more than 30% of their income to household cost. 39% had no mortgage, all right? 43% of those people with no mortgage had their housing costs were less than 10% of their income. Households with no mortgage, 11.1% was the median cost relative to their overall income. So if they had $100,000, they only paid $11,000 in housing cost because they had no mortgage. Households with a mortgage, 21% of their median expenses, of their median income went to the housing costs. So if you had a mortgage, you had $100,000 of income, you paid $21,000 to that. All right, does that make sense? Median cost with a mortgage, $1,621 a month. Median household cost without a mortgage, $509 a month. That's huge. Why do I say this? Because I started thinking, if CPI is 45% is based on owner's equivalent rent as well, and there's some other household costs in there, but a significant portion of CPI is based on stuff that once you own your own home, it's not applicable to you. And Social Security is based on CPI, which it is. Social Security is the best bet in slight spread. I'm going to show you again. So here's price of gasoline. U.S. average annual regular grade gasoline price is 1976 to 2024. And this is the bottom line is the nominal price, how much you actually paid at the pump during that time. So I remember 1999, 1999. I remember 1998, 1999. I went to the gas station on 7th Street in Bell. I'll never forget this, in Phoenix. I'll never forget it because it was 99 cents a gallon. It was crazy, man. I had a little Toyota Tercel, a little 2-door, 5-speed, 4-speed, 5-speed Toyota Tercel. It probably cost $10 to fill the whole thing up. It's freaking fantastic. All right, now what's the price now? The nominal price right now here in Georgia is about $2.80 because they got rid of the state gas tax because this is such a clown show. Now they're going to keep it. They're going to come back to it. But right now they got rid of the state gas tax. So our price per gallon is very cheap right now relative to the rest of the United States. But the nominal price right now is $3.32. So people say, look, it went up from $1 to $3.32 over the course of 25 years. That shows you the dollar is being collapsed. When you factor the cost versus inflation, which is this blue one, we're actually paying less relative to inflation. And I'm going to hang in there. It's going to be important. Then we were in 2012, 2008. Then we were in 1983, 1978. We were paying more relative to inflation in terms of real dollars in these years than we were paying right now. In fact, right now we're right about that's about the average trend line right here. So about 3.25, and that's basically what we're paying right now. So we're paying about average when you factor in inflation. All right. So then people say, yeah, but my income isn't keeping up with your inflation. I said, well, what's your income source? It's Social Security. Okay, Social Security is based on CPI. So let's just look right here. We got CPI year over year. We're going to go back. We're going to go back here. Here's the CPI change, 3.84, 8, 4.7, 1.23. And so I just put all that stuff in a database, in a calculator here. All right, or a spreadsheet. I said CPI in 1950 was 1.1. So we go back to 1950, and we're going to say, what did the price of goods go up? 1950, 1.1, year over year. CPI increased 7.86 in 1951. Let's make sure those are right. Yes. Here's the average Social Security benefit at that day. The average benefit actually went down from 1950 to 1951. Remember, it's very political back then, by the way. But the average Social Security benefit, all right, here we go. Now, it jumped up in 1952. Went up a little bit in 1953, a big jump in 1954, a little bit of a jump right there, a little small jump there. But you can see right here, these are the average benefits according to the Social Security SSA.gov. All right, so we take our average benefit at $44 a year, a month right there, from 1950, and now the average benefit is $1,616. All right, so we're going to take 2022 minus 1950. That's 72 years, all right? So we're going to use 72 as our N for number of years. So 72 is N, all right? All right, our present value is 1616 at the end of 2022. That's our future value, excuse me, future value, 1616. Our present value is 44, no payments. Our Social Security has increased on average 5.132% a year going back to 1950. When you look at the average benefit paid, that's the average benefit paid. Now, hopefully your benefit is more than the average, but just using that for example, 5.132. All right. And I just took from Social Security. The average benefit for a retiree was $44 a month in 1950. The average benefit for a retiree is $16.16 in 2022. That's a 5.132% increase. 5.132%. 113 increase. All right. So now let's take a look at what CPI has done, and we can do this right here. And we're going to say average. Let's just do right there. Equals average. Yeah. CPI has increased by 3.52. Interesting, is it not? Yes, it is. It's even better though. Watch this. Remember, there's more. And Social Security was more political back in the early part of the last century, the middle part of last century. I think it was in 1972 or 73 or something like that. They made it tied to BLS. But it doesn't matter. I'm showing you right now. So Social Security has increased more than CPI. But that's not even the point. I want to show you what that looks like here too. This is for a dozen eggs going back from 1980 to the end of today. So from 1980 to 2022, to the end of 2022, a dozen eggs was 88 cents. It's our present value. $2 is our future value. We have, what's that, 43 years, right? Yeah, 43 years are N. Eggs have gone up by 1.98% a year. Now this isn't comparing from 1980, this is comparing 1950. So we're going to say 1.98% a year. Gas from 1976 has gone up from 0.61 to 3.97 at the end of 2022, and now it's gone down, but we're still going to go with 3.97 at the end of 2022. Zero payment was at 1976. Was at 5 years. That's 47 years. 47 is our N. Gas has gone up by 4% a year. All right. All right. 4.066. All right. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to 1976. Our Social Security payment was $225. That's a month. That's our present value, and the future value is $16.16. No payments. What did I say? 47N. Our Social Security benefit has gone up by 4.28% since then. All right. CPI has gone up by how much since then? What are we doing? 1976 was 5. I got to average. That's C28. C28. So we're going to do C28. We're going to change that to C28. CPI has gone up by 3.7%. So the price of gas, and remember this is at the end of 2022, is at 3.97. All right, so that's an anomaly. No one's saying you're not going to have anomalies. I mean, we're always going to have anomalies in here. The price of eggs, remember last year, the price of eggs. However, we still kept up with the price of gas with just our inflation adjustment on Social Security. That's just a factor. We've gone, now we want to go here to, let's see, from right there at B32. So B32 is 341. So 0.341 is our present value. 1616 is our future value, no payments. And that's how many years? 43 years. Yeah, 43 will be our N. Oops. I forgot what I said. How much is it? 341. 3.68. So from 1980 till 2022, the price of Social Security has gone up by, the cost of Social Security, the average benefit has gone up by 3.68%, almost doubling that of the price of eggs, keeping track with the price of gasoline. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. There's no two ways around that. Eggs, a dozen, gallon of gas, CPI. And again, the reason is because Social Security, their payment increases with CPI. But your household costs, which are a significant portion of CPI, are minimal. They're not there. They're just minimal once your mortgage is paid off. They just are relative to your income. Remember, folks, all these idiots who say, oh, you need $8 billion to retire. The median household income is only $75,000. I mean, so if you got $40,000, just for simplicity, the median household income, we're not going to take away taxes, FICA, and all that. We're just going to say 401k contributions. We're just going to say, just out the gate, The median household income is $75,000. That's still two incomes. That's still two families, two husband and wife. Dare I say husband and wife? How dare I? Anyway, so let's just say $75,000 is the median household income. We're gonna say you got $40,000 from Social Security. That's less than $3,500 a month between you and your spouse. Again, a median household income includes single Susie and includes Josh and Charlotte. Married couple and not. Anyway, so the median household income is $75,000. We're gonna say Josh and Charlotte have the median household income. They got Social Security $40,000. What would that mean if $40,000? That mean my benefit is basically $2,000 a month and Charlotte's $1,000, maybe $12,000 or something like that. Come on now. Anyway, we'll go with it. So that means we need $35,000 to just make up the median household income. Again, the median household income, you got to take in FICA, 7.65. Any income tax, we'll just say roughly 10% for state and feds. Any 401k contributions, we're never going to do that. So we need $35,000 from a portfolio divided by 0.5. That means we need $700,000. And that's to equal the median household income without any deductions that come off the median household income. Does that make any sense? Of course not. So what we do is we say, okay, the median household income is $75,000 minus, we're just going to say 7.65% minus 10% for income tax and minus 10% for our 401k contribution. So we need $56,000. We got $40,000 coming from Social Security. We need $16,000 divided by 0.05. That means we need $320,000. And that's assuming your Social Security is only $40,000. Oh my goodness. I mean, the average benefit right now is $16.16. That is in 2022. So the average includes everybody who gets a benefit. That'd be you and your wife, which means your benefit would be $3,200 a month, which is $40,000 a year. That's just the average benefit. Anyway, Social Security, without question, is the best hedge against inflation there is, man, because it's based on CPI. CPI is based on numbers that aren't applicable to you if your home is paid off. They're just not. So you're getting more for your money on Social Security relative to inflation. I just showed you the eggs. I just showed you the gasoline. I mean, people say all day long, well, how about electricity? Electricity is going to be the same. I haven't done it yet. And why? Because of fracking. The cost of kilowatt hour is certainly still 8 cents a kilowatt hour here in Georgia. A lot of it's political, but I'm just telling you right now. Let's just say when I was born, let's say it's 1 penny a kilowatt hour when I was born in 1970. 1 penny a kilowatt hour. And now it's 8 cents, we'll just say 9 cents a kilowatt hour. And that was 53 years ago. That means my cost of electricity would have gone up by 4.23% a year. 4.23% a year. And that's it was 1 cent a kilowatt hour. And now it's at 9 cents a kilowatt hour. I don't think it's gone up that much. We can look. I haven't done it yet. But what has kept up that much? Oh, yeah, your Social Security. It's the best hedge against inflation there is. All right. Love your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list, and we'll see you later.